So you was really born to do this, like sing, like.
It's a gift.
Cause I be seeing the hairstyles you be doing like on your Instagram, and
Uh-huh.
I be like, yo, matter of fact, shout your Instagram out.
Okay, so yeah, make sure y'all go follow me on IG at J_Uniques Beauty Bar. It is Uniques with a Z and Beauty with a I.
You did, y'all heard her, man. Make sure y'all go check that out. I'm telling you, like she one of the best in the city. Like that's why I had to stop by here first.
First. Okay,
Facts.
well your girl blow up. Okay.
Yeah, straight like that. And she on YouTube too. So if y'all need them listens
Yes.
or whatever, you do products too, right?
Yep, they right behind you.
Well, she got about 10,000 products behind me,
You
man.
so silly. We about sold out. I gotta restock.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
just sell out
tripping.
quick.
So talk about your products, like
My product.
what made you get into products, like with the hair?
Okay, so during the pandemic. No, let me go back. So I went natural back in 2017. I was always into braiding. I was the one that tried to be the jack of all trades. I could do nails, braids, sew-ins, all that type of stuff. But it's like, you need to find a focus.
The
Find
goat.
your niche.
Yeah, facts.
So, I got tired of looking like a duck by the head. Like, girl, hair was struggling, okay? Like, it was a hot mess. And I remember being at work, and I was like, okay, so my hair is fine, and it's brittle. My ends always looking like this. So I just started Googling stuff. I'm working at the bank. I was working at the desk. They think I'm doing stuff in relation to the job. No. Every day I was up. That's the truth. Every day, if you saw my computer and you go to the little history, you'll see braids, hair, curls. Me searching this and searching that. It was nothing. Never relate to the job itself.
Right.
But I think that was God telling me then, baby, you finna roll.
Yeah.
But I just started Googling some stuff. I found this website that gives you, it's in alphabetical order from A to Z, different organic things, products, not products, but like oils, powders, everything that comes from the earth that helps with different things for your hair. So I started writing some of them down. I said, let me just find a way to print it out. Ain't nobody gonna see me print it out. So I was printing it out, sending the emails to me so I can go home and do my research. But I understood, I'm like, okay, but you gotta find out what works with what. Because every oil, you can't combine with certain oils because it'll be, a little too much of that vitamin or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, God, you're going to have to leave me with this one because I don't feel like doing all that. I'm not a chemist. So, your girl is not a chemist, okay? So, I was like, okay, so I just went with whatever, God had led me to do. I said, okay, let me pull this oil, let me pull this one, let me pull this one right here. So when I was a teen, I tell people this all the time, because a lot of people's like, when did you get your license? And, how was it for you starting out getting your hair license or whatever? And I'm like, look, my story is not like everybody else because I didn't get my license like the average person. I took cosmetology my sophomore year in high school. And by my junior year, I had to drop it because I had needed an extra credit to graduate. And I had went to finish hair school after high school. I went to Tennessee Tech downtown.
Yeah.
And I remember coming in. I came in as a senior. I had 1,018 hours. Needed 1,500 to graduate. And she was like, hey, here go a book. Here's a theory book. Go to the front of the book and highlight everything so I know where to start with you. And in my mind, I'm like, well, shoot, I know, me being big-headed. I said, I know everything. I know this. I know, thinking I'm just going to be that girl in the class because I was that girl in school.
Right.
And she looked at that book. She was like, girl, she said, baby, you not ready to graduate. I said, what you mean? She was like, how you get all these hours and you ain't learned the basic stuff? And she was like, okay, what school you went to? And I told her, she was like, man, you know what? I done reported to school so many times because you're not the first that came to me and you didn't know the theory. I knew the hands-on, but I didn't know the book work.
Right.
The terminology, that's what's important.
Yeah.
And I was in school for 4 months, and I went and took the test. Went and took it, failed it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. And it was a guy that I was cool with, named Drew. He was one of the barbers. And he was like, look, you come to graduation? I said, well, if I don't pass this test, I ain't coming.
Man, what?
And he was like, look, regardless if you pass or not, you need to come because, you need to celebrate yourself. I failed it again. Didn't come to my graduation because I was too embarrassed. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, if I don't pass the test, I'm not worthy to walk this stage. To this day, I regret that. But I was like, okay, I'm going to try it one more time. I remember trying to study the book. It's like when I was reading, nothing was sticking, nothing was grasping. I was like, man, I know I ain't dumb. Like, I'm smart. I'm understood and I'm smart. And when I think of it now, it's not because I couldn't understand that I was reading. It's because of the pressure that I was under. What I was going through, my surroundings played a huge part of my trying to thinking and my thoughts. And all of that, not having the support system that I need. I don't want to say your name, but a family member extremely close to me, extremely close, like birth close. That's close enough. A family member told me that you can't be successful being a hairstylist. You need to go to college, get your education, be a nurse or something like that. And he's like, you're not gonna make no money being a hairstylist. And it stuck with me. I went to school and I was crying. I told my teacher what was going on. She was like, look, she said, I see, I understand what's being said. She said, but you have to follow what your heart says. I went to college, like my parents wanted me to. I went to college, first year. Didn't even know how I passed the class because I never had a book. I'm gonna be real with you. I had never had a book, but I passed. We had to do a presentation at the end of where we see ourselves at the college. So I did a whole presentation of my salon. It was like a 3-in-1 shop where the barber, the hair salon, the tattoo shop in the back. I got on my computer. I had created a whole floor mat. Like, you could see everything. It was very detailed. I had my smock on, and I told her what I wanted to do. And she was like, after class, I need to see you. And I was like, what I do? So after class, she was like, look, I love your presentation. She said, you did really amazing. She said, who did that? And I was like, I did it on the computer. And she said, well, so I'm very impressed. I just got one question. And I was like, yeah. She said, what are you doing here? And I looked at her like, and it's like it was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. And from that point on, I knew, like, okay, this is not my dream. This is somebody else's dream, the college thing. Like, for me, it's just that wasn't it. But it's like I failed that test 3 times. After that 3rd time, I was like, you know what? Maybe this family member was right. Maybe this not for me. Maybe, I'm not this girl. Because even in high school, I never said I wanted to go and work at somebody else's salon. I always said I was going to have my own shop. I always had I was a big dreamer even as a young teen. But it was just someone else, seeing that vision was the problem. So when I had, it was about my 2nd year of college. I couldn't finish because I didn't qualify for no more financial aid. And I felt like it was God kind of just shouldn't have done that. Went to work in the corporate field. And I was like, okay, God. So when I get my apartment, I'm going to start back studying and, try to pass the test again. Got the apartment, did not study because I was like, nigga, I'm free. It's real free. Freedom. It was time to party. So, that book was in the closet somewhere. But it's like the love of hair, it never left. But I had tried to convince myself that I didn't like doing hair, or it was just a hobby, or just trying anything not to make me think about it. But it's like wherever I turn, look, even dreams, like God was always reiterating, like, hey, look, I got something for you. Like, you got a gift. You need to come on with it. 7 years later.
Man.
7 years later, I was dating this guy, and I was doing his hair. He was like, you know, you really supposed to be a hairstylist. You just choose to work at the bank. I looked at him like, nigga, who you talking to? Who you talking to? So, I was like, okay. So I said, you know what, God, look, if this is what you want me to do, if this is the path for me, if this is what am I supposed to be doing, I need you to make this whole process be smooth. Don't let nothing stand in my way. Because at the time, after 7 years, your hours expired. And mine was a little over 7 years, almost 8. I called state boards. They told me that they was able to get me back registered. And I was like, this is not real. Like, how? And I was like, okay. I said, okay, well, before we can schedule your date to get everything completed, I need the day that you graduated and the day that you started. I said, okay, so I had to go back to the school. So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, Lord, okay, let's see what happened. I went up to the school, and the lady was like, what you here for? I said, I need my transcript because I don't know when I graduated. She said, baby, I don't know what's going on today, but the Lord must really be on your side because today my last day. If you had to come any day after this, you had to go to Nashville to get your transcript. When I tell you, I went to that car and I cried. Because I was like, this is not real. I said, okay, Lord. So I get that part completed. I scheduled a date, and I taught myself cosmetology. Every day I was studying, but I did it a little bit different this time. I read everything and whatnot, and I was like, okay, we gonna do it this time. So when I read it, all of a sudden, I was able to think about certain things that I saw at different jobs and companies that I had worked at that kind of helped me remember the things that's in the book with the safety part. But everything that I kind of went through kind of still worked out for my good because when I went and took the test, I was like, okay, I passed it, but how was it when I was in school? I couldn't grasp none of this, but now today, I'm able to teach myself cosmetology 7 years later. Like, how? That's impossible, right? There was none but God. How was I able to do that?